The floor is yours, Mr. Baudet.
Thank you, Chairman. This afternoon I had lunch with a number of congressmen, members of, let's say, the American House of Representatives, and they were here as guests in The Hague to talk about Ukraine, the Middle East, and trade tariffs. The topic we are discussing here in plenary today, it was an interesting lunch, an interesting conversation, and they largely agreed with my analysis of this announced trade war by President Trump. Namely, that the Netherlands is being punished with the announced American trade tariffs for our membership, now see, in the European Union. That ball and chain, that economic death trap, which Forum for Democracy, by the way, is the only party in this House that wants to leave as soon as possible. Because, Chairman, I have often said that the EU is disastrous for the Dutch economy, and we are seeing that once again now. What is the situation? The EU has had a trade surplus with the United States for years, amounting to approximately $157 billion. So there is significantly more export to the U.S. than import from the U.S. annually. This is partly due to an asymmetry in Dutch trade tariffs. Cars, agricultural products, and industrial goods enter the United States quite easily. But when Americans want to export their products to Europe, they encounter trade barriers. For instance, the European Union imposes an import tariff of 10% on American passenger cars, while the United States only levies 2.5% on European cars. Germany particularly benefits from this, BMW, Mercedes, those kinds of things. American wines that want to enter the European market, well, I personally find them undrinkable, but Ralph Decker swears by them, pay up to 32 cents per liter in import duties, while the highest American import tariff on European wines is 14 cents per liter. So more than twice as low. We see the same story with cheeses, 0 to 15% in America, 10 to 20% in the EU. Motorcycles, 2.4% in America, 6% in Europe, and so on. Corn and grains, 2.5% if you want to enter the American market, almost 10% if you want to enter the European market. So to be honest, I do understand the United States. Trump has said that he wants to make a deal within 90 days. And it seems quite reasonable that this should be negotiated at the EU level instead of both sides further increasing tariffs, as is now threatening to happen. But, and this is the point, the Netherlands holds an exceptional position within the entire EU because our country, unlike most other countries in the EU, actually has a trade deficit with the United States of many billions. In other words, while the EU as a whole exports much more to the United States than it imports from the United States, the Netherlands actually imports much more from the United States than we export to the United States. The difference is 16.4 billion, so we import 44.4 billion, and we export only 28.2 billion. In addition, with more than $700 billion in investments, the Netherlands is among the largest direct foreign investors in the American economy. So here too lies a tremendous opportunity for our country. We have a unique negotiating position with respect to the United States, much stronger than the negotiating position of the EU as a whole. Therefore, our call to the minister is go to the White House as soon as possible. Explore the possibilities for the Netherlands to make special deals through regionally protected products or specific product categories within the EU, for example. This can be done just as it is already happening with ASML's products. It can also be done with Gouda cheeses. For all regionally protected products, you can create separate categories within the existing EU treaty for trade relations. So the Netherlands can directly escape this looming trade war. We can also make a special deal for visas and green cards for Dutch entrepreneurs. We can also make a deal for America to make more direct foreign investments in the Netherlands, in the Dutch economy, because we are the best in the class. The possibilities are endless. And this was confirmed to me again this afternoon by the American congressman. They would also greatly welcome that. So, Minister, show that you truly put the Netherlands first, that there is still some of that old PVV energy in you, and go to Washington as soon as possible to make a deal. Thank you.